Alrighty folks, I want to welcome you back to another video from Yates Computer Tips and Reviews. So I'm doing this small little set on Windows. I'm sure everybody's starting to hear about this Windows 11. Windows 11. Right now, it's too early to actually do a review, to do anything. They have a leaked version, they have a new version out for people to play with, that are reviewers, to know what it is and blah 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 blah. And to me it looks like just another version of Windows 8.1 and 8. Let's change everything around and jam it through your throat. I know it's not a nice thing to say, but I want to say that right up front, because this is one of my pet peeves I've had with developers. I've mentioned it on my other video to begin this series, that I don't understand why these developers do these things. They design a new layout, they design all this stuff. Oh, but this is great for tablets. If you don't like it, you could change it back to a classic mode. So now I have to go in there and find your settings and find where you have everything hidden to change it back to a classic mode, to move things back to where they need to be, because you thought it was a great idea. Okay, I understand you thought this was a great idea. That's why you added it to your OS. Do not force it on anybody. Let us choose to enable that feature. Don't force it on people, because now, as being an admin or doing something on a network, I have to fix that problem over and over and over again. Windows 10 was infamous for that. If you go into the privacy settings, it's trying to store everything you do. It's trying to turn on all their junk software. It's trying to keep all their junk software running in the background. I have to go through and disable all these things that I think should be disabled. I should have the option to run what I want in the background. I should have the option to say this has access to my files. This is privacy and security. This is not the developer or whoever is in charge of distributing the software to decide this is what your privacy setting is going to be. No. I really hope a lot of people see these videos and get on my bandwagon or get on my side about this and say, you know what, he's right. They should not be manipulating that OS and that stuff for their gain. And that's what they're doing. It's for their gain. We will notify Microsoft of all. No, you won't. I decide what I notify Microsoft for. The old versions of the OS used to pop you up a box and say, did you want to notify? Of course not. But now you're doing it secretly in the background, enabling this feature to store and collect this data to send. And when you load the OS and it gives you the options where it comes up, do you want to do this? Yes, no, and you have like the 9 or 10 options. That big privacy one is not on the list. I still have to go into that privacy settings and their funky start settings system, because they wanted to hide it and it's not in the control panel that they hid. The control panel that you can't really get to easily. You have to do all these little shortcuts and find it and search for it and all this other stuff instead of it being easily defined. You go into that settings and you got to turn off all this stuff that they turn on, that they're watching, that they're trying to control. They're trying to control your camera, your mic, all these things. Number one, do I have a camera or mic on this computer? Why is my OS trying to control it? I don't have one. That should be my option. Because now you're using my memory cycles, my CPU cycles, and everything else to do things that they want to take control of. So, hopefully, with this new operating system, they quit doing that. But I can see from already what they're showing, they're already doing it. As for a recommendation to upgrade, no. I would not upgrade to Windows 11 unless there's some huge, critical, important factor. Unless they come out with some huge information coming up. You have till 2025 is the end of life for Windows 10. If you're running anything older than Windows 10, there's Windows 7, Windows 8, 8.1, there's really no reason for you to be running those. Windows 7 is unsupported. Windows 8, I believe, is being unsupported now or pretty soon. By the time you see this video. There is no actual reason for you to be running those because it's a free upgrade. You can go to Microsoft's site, get the media creator, install it, upgrade, you're on Windows 10. But of course, you want to follow the best standard practices, do your backups, copy your personal data, do whatever you need to do before you do that upgrade in case you have an error. Of course, I have to go through this because I see there's not a lot of people watching these other videos that mention all of this. These are all core important information. That's why I'm touching on it again, to make sure that you guys understand all of those videos relate to all of this. So, Windows 11 I don't recommend. Second reason why is it seems to be every other version of Windows is pretty much garbage. Windows 8, 8.1, do I need to say any more? I doubt there's anybody really running that anymore. I'm sure everybody's figured out how to get to Windows 10. On the day Windows 10 launched, I was off Windows 8. Because I knew there was no way Windows 10 could be any worse than Windows 8. If you're running Windows 7, I can see why some people are holding on to it. It's run well, it's done well, but support is stopped. So I would go to Windows 10. Again, as for Windows 11, that's per user case. Of course, jumping to it too quick, I wouldn't recommend because you're going to have drivers, you're going to have a lot of other things that are going to be developed. Those are going to take some time. All the little bugs and all the little quirks that are going to be found because of the new design, the new layout, due to drivers and software compatibilities, and patches will have to come out. So, I don't recommend it. Home user or for business. Now they're talking about certain hardware requirements, certain security chips, and certain other little things that are going on. And I guess a bunch of people are complaining that their computer's not passing the preliminary check. Here's the thing. If you're running the preliminary check now before the OS is even out, what's the point? What are you checking against? Until there's an official release and that product is actually out in something, in computers or laptops or something out on the market, I don't see a reason to try to see why if your computer's compatible. When you know if you really need to upgrade, Windows 10 should be compatible. If Windows 10 is compatible, I would do an upgrade. Because that means you're running Windows 7 or Windows 8 or 8.1 that are pretty much going to be unsupported or are unsupported. So you need to upgrade. So this is really my first look of Windows 11. I don't like it. I'm going to hold off. Now, are we going to have the same issue with Windows 8 effect on those computers where they come out and they sit on the shelves because nobody likes the OS. Most likely. Supposedly, they're already talking about if you don't like it, you can downgrade within 30 days to Windows 10. I'm hearing all this stuff already out on it. So, to me, that already means that they're already hearing a big backlash on what they've done. So, home users, you might not hear a lot of this because this is not the circle you run in. This is not the information you hear. So, I want to put this information out there. Worst things worse, you buy a new computer and it's got Windows 11. Clean it off. Put Windows 10 on. Media creation tool. Put that on there. Now, I haven't heard yet if the Windows 11 key will actually work on Windows 10. I'm sure they're going to have to do a new patch, a new version, new something to get it to work if it does. So, here's another factor for all you Windows 10. Expect a new patch, expect a new upgrade when Windows 11 comes out to make sure all these things are capable. More upgrading, more patching, woo! I know that's what every admin is saying right now at work. Because you need to keep the latest and greatest so you're safe and secure. So, home users, that really does still apply to you. You need to apply your updates, you need to apply all these things. Because you want to be safe and secure. You want to make sure that in case you decide you go to Windows 11, you don't have to wait 3 or 4 hours to apply whatever updates you need to do because you haven't done them. So that the OS is ready to be moved to Windows 11. So it's best to keep on top of that. So I wanted to point out that factor. After this, I'll be doing some more videos on some other factors on other things. So I wanted to touch on these things. I wanted to make sure people understand. I know there's a lot of hype out there on this Windows 11, and a lot of people were like, well, supposedly Windows 10 was going to be the last version and this and that. Windows 11 is truly out because there's been hardware changes. Due to the gamers. I will blame this on all the gamers. I know they'll all get mad, but you gotta blame it on someone and have some fun with it. But because they changed how video cards operate so that how they communicate from the drive, they don't go through your CPU and all of these other type of things. The channels are how they communicate. There's going to be motherboard designs, there's going to be CPU designs, graphics cards have already been designed differently. There may even be future hard drive designs done differently for gaming. Well, I don't even know if I can call it a hard drive anymore. You have an M.2 stick. It's not really a hard drive anymore. But it's a hard drive. There might be some other changes coming along in the future where maybe gaming memory is separate than your storage separate. Maybe somehow they'll put it on faster RAM on the chips to accommodate. So these things can come up. So this is why the OS had to be upgraded. I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't understand. This is why technology, the hardware is changed. You have a developmental change in hardware now. So this video is talking about Windows 11, but this is also bringing up another factor. Hardware changes. I know I've brought up videos showing you a motherboard, showing you the slot. This still does the same job, it's just a different slot. Basically the same thing, but now you have to have your OS that can actually support that hardware and what is going on that hardware. So that's the reason why you have a Windows 11. Now, if they add more security, or they add more hardware security encryption, or they add other things to it, that's always a plus. As long as they don't add more junk and more security problems and changing the platform and how it looks like they did. These are some of the issues. So, we will have to move forward and see how this Windows 11 comes out. So, this is my Windows 11, basically first look. I won't go into saying this is my Windows 11 video, because it isn't. Windows 11 isn't out for me to do an official video on. I don't feel comfortable doing a video on a product that isn't really a product. Until it's in hardware and in systems and running, then I could actually do an upgrade and see how this thing actually runs, and if it'll run on truly older hardware that a lot of people are saying it won't, and other factors, that this is really why I want to hold off on a true review of Windows 11. So this is my first look of Windows 11. This is to let basically the home users, professional IT, basically any kind of an IT business people that might not deal with this on a regular basis. Maybe a pharmacist, might be an accounting, it might be real estate agent, something of that sort, that you have an office and you have multiple computers, but you don't have a structured person that's there monitoring all this information to relay this information to you. So this is the first look on that, because you might be looking at upgrading the computer and go, hey, why is this 11? Wasn't we running 10? And then you have to go through and try to figure out what's going on. Why is this? Why is that? Or I'm sure they're going to do the same thing probably pretty soon of, buy this system, it's fully upgradable to Windows 11. Like they were doing with the Windows 8. They were taking old products, upgrading them to Windows 10, putting them back out on the shelf, advertising it was a Windows 8 unit that's now a Windows 10 based unit. You might end up with some of that going on. And then you're going to be wondering, like, what's this? Why? You don't understand what's going on because you're not in that loop, and then you're going to see all kinds of advertisements. And then you might find some good deals on some computers that are Windows 10 that aren't supported by Windows 11, by whatever factors. And they might be really cheap, and you run out and buy this computer thinking you can upgrade. So it's kind of a research thing, it's kind of a buyer beware thing, kind of like the last videos that I've done, the buyer beware. This is important because you're going to see this stuff come up. Actually, I might move this one to the buyer beware in this section so that this is a buyer beware, because you might be seeing some deals. Want to make sure that people are aware of these factors, because I hear things, but I don't hear the full information. I don't hear the warnings. I don't hear people saying, hey, be careful. Hey, don't do this. Hey, I would hold off. Because they don't want to be the negative one. I don't mind being the negative one, because I would rather tell you, hold off, don't do this, wait, play it safe, because that's the smart play to do. Because I don't want to see you go out and spend money and get ripped off and cheated and all these other things, because you go out and buy a computer and it's good for 2 more years because the OS becomes unsupported. So, wanted to bring that up. That's a factor with the Windows 11. So, let me wrap this up. I think that's a good first look, first information on Windows 11. Hopefully people can get pointed in the right place from this video, because I don't want to tell you all the good quirks and advantages and all these good things about Windows 11 without the product actually being out, without actually seeing it, without actually running it, finding out how long it's going to take me to set everything back and figure out where everything's at, so that I can have the computer the way I had it before, so that I don't run out of life on the OS that works for me and then I have nothing. So let me wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you.